Good evening and welcome back to another exciting chapter of What Do You Hunt? I have some great guests tonight, but first, as always, I want to thank my previous guests from last week. Incredible time we had talking about Golden Age books and Silver Age books and all sorts of other great stuff. DS Comics, Alex the Comic Hoarder, and Man Cave Comics. Thank you, all three of you guys, for stopping by and hanging out with us. Tonight, I've got another set of great people. I have the host of the Whatever Report on Sunday nights and everybody's favorite, Are They Still Hot? 6-month look back at hot books and top 10s. JP's Budget Collecting.
I thought maybe you were going to bring, you said like good people and stuff, and I was like, wait, I thought I was.
Don't sell yourself short, man. You're the tallest guy on YouTube.
The tallest guy. Not according to TJ, I'm like puck size.
Only when you're sitting down.
Only when I'm sitting down. Well, you know. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. How are you?
I am good. It's been a long week, but that's okay. We're getting through there. We're almost through Friday.
Excellent. We also have with us the host of the hottest new show on YouTube, D's Top 10, bringing in guests every other week or so. And not to mention Scarlet Spider's biggest fan, D. Runk Comics.
That last part was the most important, man. Scarlet Spider's
I was going to leave that out.
biggest fan, both literal and figuratively. That is me. What's going on,
How are you doing tonight, George?
Dude, I'm doing I'm actually having a shitty night, but I'm glad to be here, and I can only imagine my day getting better from here. So thank you for having me on.
Excellent. No problem. Good to have you on. All right. And our final guest. He doesn't host anything, but he is absolutely the nicest guy on YouTube. The inimitable Los.
Yo, what's going on, everybody?
Hello.
What's happening, brother? How you doing?
You know, I'm almost in the same boat as George there. Maybe not as crappy, but definitely hectic as hell. So
I hear you. So then the first question I have for you guys is, what are you drinking?
A little Boulevard KC Pills.
JP, tell the folks at home what I'm drinking.
Mick Golden Light or something.
Golden Light, Minnesota's favorite beer made in Missouri.
Only drink in Minnesota. I've never even heard of it.
Very nice.
Is that from your sponsor?
Yes, and dude, they put the Minnesota on the barcode. It's that big of a deal in Minnesota.
There you go.
Hometown liquor.
Dude, you Google that shit and it'll say, what is it with Minnesotans and Mick Golden Light? It's like the second result when you Google search Mick Golden Light.
What about you, Los? What do you got?
Yeah, I had to go with something a little harder today. So I got some Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Oh, I love some Screwball peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah.
That is good stuff.
Yep. Just, there you go. Fill it to the top.
Nice. Well, I'm just a little bit of wine for me. Some Vin Noir.
Fancy stuff,
You know me, keeping it classy.
You need to with the three of us, Jamal.
Somebody's got to keep it classy.
Somebody got to keep it classy.
And Dinger says, "I thought this was a good panel," and I was like, "He got low.
Take it however you like. Apparently,
there's a good panel. He's got low." Well, this side is not quite as.
Yeah. The right side of your screen is very sketch.
That was sketch.
I keyed. Well, I tell you what, we can just jump right into it since we know how everybody's evening has been started off. Let's see if we can have a little bit of fun. Let's check out who's in the chat. Fuchsia is here nice and early.
Fuchsia,
as in 40 seconds before we went live. All good. Daymare is joining us. How you doing? Funk Comics 814. Man Cave in here. Thank you again, sir, for a great show last week. Yeah, Dame Maris. That's funny. And then TJ the Slab Dragon Watson. Yep. You're welcome. That's all I got to say. And then we got Unruly Simeon.
Unruly.
I think that rounds out our guests in the chat. So let's talk about what do you hunt. Tell everybody about your collecting goals. How do you collect? What do you go after when you're out there hunting? You got you hunting keys, you hunting runs, filler, all the above. JP?
Oh, I guess from me. What do I
are to my left.
Very little.
Or right, depending on your screen justification.
Yeah. Mostly right now, specific keys. I'm trying to focus on some specific books. I have a very small comic budget, so I try to really focus on books that have some meaning or that I really want. Occasionally do a little bit of run stuff, but really not much. There's a couple of runs I'd love to do, but I just haven't prioritized those, mainly because they're not going to be hard to do when the time comes.
Sure.
So they're not I'm not going after an ASM run or something like that. I mean, they would be some smaller, finishing my Nightwing run, which most of those are $1. So it's not that's a run that I can.
Well, that's not necessarily. I mean, unless you're just talking about the miniseries, but
Yeah.
Nightwing was still 150 issues.
Yeah, I have. But when I was collecting originally, I have about the first 80. So it's not.
You got a good start.
Yeah, I have a big chunk of them already. So really, right now, it's mostly just focusing on some specific keys that I'm after.
Excellent, George.
Yo, man, I don't know. For me, I had one big book I was hunting. That was my X-Men book. I caught that. And after that, dude, I'm just kind of a free agent, man. I look for things that are shiny that I like, and Scarlet Spider stuff. But you know what? Recently I bought the newsstand edition of Web of Spider-Man 118. It's the middle one there.
It's the one above your head.
Yeah, that one closed out my run of every last possible Scarlet Spider key.
So aside from or rather different than Comic Man Andy, who went after every Saga #1 made, and that was over a dozen.
Yeah.
You had a smaller goal that was a bit more achievable.
Yes, but this one right here, there's only 3 on the census and a 9.8.
That's excellent.
So and I had to submit that sucker to make it happen. But no, it's I don't know. It's just other than that big X-Men 1 goal that I had.
I think everybody wants to know whether or not you got that newsstand at Riverside Liquor.
No, I got the Mid Golden Light at Riverside Liquor.
Oh, yeah.
But dude, my and that's what kind of made me laugh when you invited me on the show. I guess I could have told you my hunting is very erratic and it has ADD.
Much like the hunter, the goals are very distributed.
But I can tell you that it often centers on things that I enjoyed as a kid. And some of them are more expensive or were expensive when I was a kid, and I couldn't get them ever. Now, they're still a little expensive, but I can afford to get them now. So that's
good.
Yeah.
Daymare says he only has the only 980 he has is Man Frog #1, and to that I say you're welcome. How about you, Los?
Yeah.
Nice.
When you're out looking, what do you prioritize?
Right now, I mean, most people might know my situation and stuff, or my goals that I have for the rest of this year. But I did, kind of make a arrangement with my wife where I can still go hunting for stuff, but none of it is for the PC. Right? It's all go hunting for stuff that I can flip and try to do other things. So currently, right now, that's where I'm at. But before that, before this whole the other personal thing that I want to do, I was actually going for like more keys and stuff like that. I don't really have too many runs that I was going for. I had an X-Men run that I wanted to finish, was X-Men 94 to 143, and I wanted the entire run slabbed. I got, I want to say 91% of that done.
Wow.
I do have a few of them that are raw that I need to, kind of clean and press and then submit them. I want to say all of them are 9.6 or better, except for like 94, which is an 8.5, but it's double signed. And there's like a few more in there. And the one that I'm missing is X-Men 101, which is going to have to wait for a while right now. But it is what it is. It's a book that's it's out there and you can find it, so it's not too hard pressed. But I mean, other than that, that's what I was kind of going for. My other goal, which is probably going to be a lifetime collecting goal, and that is getting every single Doctor Doom cover.
Oh, that's cool.
So he is my favorite villain, and I've been trying to collect them sporadically here and there. There's definitely a bunch of, dollar bin covers and stuff that he's done. And then, of course, there's a couple of, few $1,000 covers that he's in. Yeah. So, I'm not in a rush for those, obviously. But when I do, I'll get back into it. And, obviously the biggest one, like, his first appearance in Fast House 4, that cover appearance on Spider-Man. So, a couple of big books there, but those are books that, even if I get them in a 1.8, I don't give a shit. I'm perfectly happy with that.
Right.
Right in my price point, right? Right there, not in the $7,000 range, but, you kind of bring it down to maybe the 2,500, 2,000, maybe in this little sweet spot. Even if I have to get it raw, I don't really care as long as it's complete. I'm okay with that.
Well, it looks like you've got some friendly competition out there. Soldiers looking for the same there.
That's not friendly. Soldier will stab you in the back. I'm kidding.
No, on the TJ comment before Los can see it. I like
I told you. This is TJ's info show. Right?
Son of a...
He hasn't missed one yet.
I can't believe you put
seriously.
with TJ in the chat.
Well, okay, so let's dig into that for a second, all right? Because that's a pretty cool little run that you're looking at. So we're talking Doom covers, right? And there's some really good Doom covers out there. So did you get the Marvel Superheroes 20 yet? First solo.
His first solo story, I did not.
Okay, what about?
I did not have that.
What about FF's Annual 2? Origin of Doctor Doom.
The Origin, yeah. Those are some of the bigger books that they actually.
That one's actually not too bad. Obviously, you're not going after it right now. I get that.
But they started creeping up in price.
Sure, yeah.
Because once his first appearance, just kind of just took off. Then people were like, all right, well, what's the next book? It's like, all right, well, Spider-Man ASM 5. Let's try to get that. All right, well, now that's starting to go up. It's like, okay, what can we go for now? It's like, all right, well, now let's look for the annual. Okay, well, that's starting to go up. And it's like, all right, and his first solo story is like, son of a bitch. It's like, it just keeps trickling down. And it's like, of course.
No, I hear you. ASM 5 is on my list for the year. It definitely is, because I just, I have 5 or 6 ASM books left. Right, was it 1, 2, 3, 5, and 22? And then Annual 1 that I'm trying to close out, but that's not a big book at all.
No, not at all.
Only been working on that since last year, right? But actually, I do have a line on one. A guy that I buy from quite frequently. I buy a lot of keys and stuff from. He has 3 coming back from CGC soon, and I'm like, okay, set aside your lowest grade one for me.
Exactly.
We'll work out a payment plan.
Nice. Very nice.
Because I'm not the only one on a budget, right?
Yeah, seriously.
We're all on a budget. But that's
Definitely.
cool. I mean, those Doctor Dooms those are good books, right? And then you've got the what is it, Astonishing Tales 1 through 8, I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those are all great Doctor Doom stories, especially with him like going into Wakanda and starting to rock.
I said, he has some great ones. I mean, my oldest cover is right there.
Oh, let's hang on.
It's Avengers 25. So it was the first meeting, right there. First meeting of Doom and the Avengers. It's a 9.0. Like, it's my oldest Doom book, but yeah. So
that's cool.
You were fantastic, by the way, at pointing at books behind you. That
you like that?
It's a pain.
I'm just like, maybe it's there we go.
Yeah,
the book's over there. No, it's not.
I still have trouble like figuring out who's where. Like I'm like this guy or this guy.
Yeah, you always have the point. Just always the opposite direction where you're going.
Right that way. Oh wait, no.
One of these days I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm never gonna get it.
MTC, how you doing? So. Unruly says, alas, my Kirby FF run will forever lack 1, 4, and 5. He's made his peace with it. I wouldn't count on it. I really wouldn't, Unruly. You never know those things can be stumbled upon. I've stumbled across so much good stuff, in my collecting, just in the last few years. And stuff keeps going up, but there's always opportunities.
Yeah. I think one of the cool things about it, especially now with like the movies and everything coming out, and it's there's been such a bigger boom now for like comics. It's definitely like you talk about it more and more, right? Even with people that are not into like comics or something like that or whatever. But then as you talk about it more and people kind of know that you collect or whatever it is, they talk to somebody else, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you know what? I have somebody who collects or whatever. You collect comics too or whatever. And like they're trying to sell it or something like that. And that's how you get all these like random ass people buying collections and stuff like that, because it's just somebody who doesn't care. They're like, I got this, short box of books that I need to get rid of. And it's like, I don't collect them, but I know somebody who does, and then they'll just like call you up randomly and be like, hey, I know somebody who's trying to sell some books. And it's like, sure, I'll take a look at them. So, that the good thing is to just, keep talking about it, because you just never know who's selling. And you never know what's in a collection, so you could get that, FF, 4, 5, 1, whatever you're looking for. So it could be out there.
Absolutely. I never give up hope. What have you guys made goals in the past, like targeted goals, specific, like I'm going to go after these, and if so, how did they turn out, George?
Yeah, well, my first ever like real goal for collecting was getting X-Men Alpha, which is the Age of Apocalypse chromium cover book. They had a gold edition in a 9.8.
So you were shooting low.
I was. No, it's kind of a low goal, but it's a book that I loved it so much. And as a kid, I never had the gold one. And when I started getting back into collecting, like that was like my first book. I was like, I want to get that. And then that led me into wanting to raise the stakes and say, well, I want to get X-Men #1, and I got really close in, like, I think it was early 2019. I had the money set aside. I was going to pull the trigger on one, then my water heater broke, and the money for that had to go right into the water heater. And by the time I was able to recoup those funds, the book was twice as expensive. And and even
I'm familiar with that.
Even since I bought it, so I bought it in a 4.5. The grade that I got it in has gone up in price for how it sells by $4,000.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is impressive.
Which is like
insane.
Yeah. Even a grade lower sold for like $10,000 the other day, which is several thousand more than what I paid for it.
Wow. So I have a 3.5 that I got. I got it raw, that I had cleaned and pressed, and I I want to say that I got it for like less than 2 and graded it out, and it graded out as a 3.5. So I'm really happy with that current investment, you know.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Because I got it, I want to say I got it like September of 2019.
Oh,
Very good.
All right. I was like just under the radar, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it really worked out.
Well, and like Los was talking about his favorite villain being Doom. Magneto is, I don't know, he's like tied for me. But you know, he's definitely like one of my top 2 villains, and getting his first appearance along with, you know, 6 other characters like that. That's why I love that book so much. It had so many first appearances all in one book.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's a great historic piece.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I'd like to get a nicer copy, but like, you know, current prices have really made that unlikely unless I can find one raw, you know.
Well, 3.5 was in the range I was looking for. I was like, you know, between a 3 and a 5 is what I was looking for, and I just needed to get the right price. And yeah.
Well, you got a great book, so I mean, you definitely you worked it out. What about you, Los? Have you made targeted goals in the past and worked at them?
You know, I when I mean, like, almost like most of us, you know, we kind of you know, collected when we were younger and kind of took a break and then came back. And when I came back into it, you know, I was definitely unfocused. I was just, you know, picking books left and right. You know, just, you know, it was just a clusterfuck. I mean, it was just like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just started buying stuff, and I'm like, what are you doing? Right. And I finally kind of like narrowed it down, especially, you know, when I got more into the YouTube community and stuff like that, and kind of seeing what other people were kind of like narrowing down on and focusing on. I was like, oh, you know what? I need to stop. Like, I'm just all over the place, right? And I was like, you know what? You need to stop, right? You're just wasting money on stuff, and just like, you know what? Kind of focus a little more. And then I did start setting some goals for myself, and that's when I started. You know, I was like, all right, let me do my X-Men run that I really want, because that Claremont run is what I really wanted.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, I got to like other things where I'm like, okay, you know, there's certain like Jim Lee covers that I wanted. So I'm like, okay, you know, he's one of my favorite artists. I'm going to collect these covers that he did. So I started doing some of those things and kind of narrowing down. And then there was like specific books that I wanted. So it's like, okay, if I want my, you know, X-Men 49 to 50, I you know, always wanted those, but I wanted them signed by Steranko. So I finally got those. And so, but I kind of narrowed things down. You know, I wanted the trifecta over here of, you know, covers, and wanted them signed as well. So I try to like focus a little more on like, okay, what do you actually want? And what's going to, you know, be beneficial to your actual collection, and not just have a bunch of boxes of crap. And you're like, all right, you know, and then you kind of go through it and you're like, what the hell did I buy this for? I'm like, I don't even like this damn book. I like, you know, so, you know, and I know we all have that, right? I mean, you can see the piles of damn books behind me. Right. And it's just like, you know, you get to a point where you're like, do I really need this book? So you know, I'm trying to like narrow in and focus a little more, but yeah, I definitely set more goals for myself as my collecting style got a little more mature, I guess, if you want to put it that way. And, you know, I definitely set some goals for myself after that, and kind of zeroed in a little bit and focused my attentions better.
I can appreciate that. I mean, I think we all go through that time where, you know, our collecting styles change, you know, as we mature, as we progress in the hobby, you know, things that we had. I'm personally going through a situation where like things that I had in the past that I got rid of, like I've gone through, I would say, 3 generations of collecting, right? Like 3 points where I had stopped collecting, and I'm like going back and looking at like my first collecting. And this is a fun thing that my wife loves to give me hell about, is Boris the Bear. I'm like, I miss my Boris the Bear comics, right? I mean, because it was a short little run, you know. It's cute, it's funny, you know. The covers, you know, were like, you know, really entertaining. But you know, they're not. I zero in the wild, right? Like I got to go to like mycomicshop.com or Mile High Comics. And the funny thing is that you can get them for less than the cost of shipping. They're not expensive books, but I'm like, do I go and get that? Like I went back and I filled in my Usagi Yojimbo Fantagraphics run. I'm missing 3 books from that entire run, and it's like in the 20s.
Nice.
I'm just like, I got to find them, right? But I every time I go to a shop, there's almost no Usagi Yojimbo, at least not from that run, from way back.
Yeah.
Space Usagi, forget it. Ever since they announced that they're going to do a Space Usagi cartoon, that book's been scarce. But just kind of ridiculous stuff like that. How about you, JP? I mean, we know, but those of us who know you know about the 50, right? This 50.
Well, I didn't really start there. Like when I started collecting again, I did kind of come up with a list of things that I would, like to have, but I wasn't very good the first year or so about like sticking to that list. There was lots of stuff I just grabbed from other places, and I was buying lots of things that now it's like, why did I go after that? What was I doing? But the last 3 years I have done an annual list, but a year and a half ago I tried to do a more comprehensive, okay, these are books that I really want.
Right.
Which was the 50. And I cheated because I put books that I'd already grabbed on it, but that were part of, like, if I only had 50 comics, this is what I was thinking. Now, when I updated that last year, I made some changes. Like, not every book that was in the 50 made it to, now I have a list of 30 because I picked up about 20 of them. I did some replacements because there's interest in things have changed. I would probably, if I did it again today, some of the ones at the bottom might go off for other ones, but at least I have, a fairly targeted list of kind of a long-term goal. And it helps me, like, when I see something and I'm like, ooh, I like that. Wait, no, I could spend that money. And most of the time that works, not always. It's not perfect, but it does help me stay focused.
Yeah.
I would say though that there were 4 books probably, like, even when I got back in, that were like, that for me were realistic books that I was like, I want these books, and I have all of them.
What were they?
And they were, because I can't afford his first appearance.
Hold on. We gotta...
First Nightwing, Dick Grayson is Nightwing. I can't afford Tech 38.
Right.
But
few people can. One of them.
I really wanted that book. It was a book I didn't have. First Batgirl.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And then the other 2, one was A-OK, because Cody's an insane person.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And then the other one was Harley Quinn. These were probably, if I made a list initially, there were a couple of Spider-Man books that would have probably been on that list too, but these were really the 4 that I was like, oh, if I had those 4 books, but I'd be done. And then I was like, of course you're not. But
never. We're never done. You know better.
But I feel really good about where I am. There's some books that I really want.
We have some slab shaming in the audience.
Because
slab shaming.
Somebody's not a fan.
I know. I need to upgrade to the new CBCS.
TJ, avert your eyes.
I need to send it back in and get it reholstered in the new CBCS. TJ's like,
TJ may send you a check for the fees, just so you don't have one in your collection. I'll be honest. I have one, and it was not really a gift, but it was one that, like, a customer of mine had sent out some books. He had some credit at CBCS, so I did some work for him, and he sent them out, and he got them back. And I was like, man, I really like that Marvel Team Up 65. And he's like, here, take it off my tab. I was like, sweet. So first Captain Britain in a 9.4 in a CBCS lab, and eventually I'll probably send it over. But I don't have a problem with CBCS. I really don't. I think they do.
It doesn't bother me. I
might get their new case though, because it was like right before the new case came out.
Yeah, I have a few that I picked up because they were better deal. Like I have probably 5 or 6 CBCS. And a couple of them I bought because they were better deal. Like I could get the same grade for significantly cheaper at the time, and I would like to get them all. I haven't got any of them upgraded to the new case, but I know that makes TJ doesn't like it. I personally think both companies need to be healthy. It's better for collectors if both companies are healthy.
Absolutely. There is no free market unless there's competition.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I believe in competition. TJ will, at some point, I will send in another thing to CBCS and get some books there just because I want to support both companies. TJ might disown me for that, but it's the way it is. So
I've got one big problem with CGC and CBCS. I oftentimes prefer the keynote on CBCS.
The fact that they put the graders notes on the.
No, I'm talking about the keynote where like the first appearance description. So like my first appearance of Scarlet Spider, CGC calls it the first solo clone story. CBCS calls it the first appearance of Scarlet Spider. And there are several other books. I won't even get into it, but where I keep thinking about sending my TJ. Just hit mute for a second. I keep thinking about sending a few of my CGC books to CBCS
because they have different keynotes.
Because I like that keynote. That's important to me.
I'm sorry. Let's pause for a second. TJ, you're gonna have to. Who was the first?
I don't know.
Who got kicked to the curb? Go ahead, JP.
But and I do think just my biggest complaint is. Sometimes the keynotes on both companies are a little weird. They do different things. But the thing that bothers me about CGC is the way they handle graders notes. That pisses me off. Like more than anything is that they make you pay for them, and then half the time they don't give you graders notes. Like unless it's I got 9 4s and 9 2s back that had no graders notes. It's like on modern books. It's
I can't disagree with you on that. I mean,
I've got this 9.8 on CBCS has graders notes.
Yeah,
I have gotten some 9.8s with graders notes actually.
From CGC?
From CGC. It was actually a very odd submission. I didn't like the way that the whole submission came out. Big surprise, but because. One of them, it was like they had damaged one book and then charged me for the damage. And it was like, wait, what? I'm like, this book wasn't like this. Anyway, that's a whole different other video. But there's sometimes you'll get like a new guy in and he's being like super careful and he's writing down everything. And then like, a month later, they're not writing anything down, even when they hit you with a 9.2 on a Tech 880. So it's a crapshoot. Yeah. Inconsistency is a problem, and so is not providing the graders notes. But the other side of that is that CBCS needed to have a way to kind of get people to want to use them, because otherwise they'd be just exactly the same as CGC, and everybody knows that CGC slabs sell better. So they have to do what they have to do in order to get some market share. So whatever they're going to do, I respect it, but I also respect CGC for running a good business. I can't. There's other problems I have with CGC that are again other videos, but
Well, the whole grading period is subjective. It's an art, not a science. There's a little bit of, they try to make it a science, but they have rules and stuff they try to follow, but it's a person looking at a book or multiple people looking at a book. And so it's not perfect. I have books that are graded higher than I think they should be. I have books that are graded lower than I think they should be. And that's part of the whole thing, but it does at least give people a standard to know what they're looking at, or an idea close to what they're looking at. Which is,
and in most cases, they're relatively close. So,
yeah, which is a good thing. They're usually close.
Yeah.
There's time. I mean, there's always. I mean, it's human error, right? I mean, you're no matter what, nobody's perfect, and any company is going to have their shortcomings. The main thing is owning up to those shortcomings, and I think that's where a lot of people kind of tend to get pissed off with like CGC because they feel like they're the big dog. So it's like, you know what? Yeah, we messed up, but we don't give a shit because you're going to keep coming back to us anyway because we are the top one. And for the most part, it is, especially if you're reselling books, because you do get the most on your return, right? From CGC. I think that's the one thing that they could work on is their customer service. As far as the grading goes, yeah, I mean, you're going to have those times where it's like, hey, you see somebody gets a 9.8 and you're like, there's a fucking color breaking spine tick on there. Like, how is that a 9.8? And then somebody who gets a book that's immaculate and it's like, why is this an 8.5? And you're like, what the hell? So yeah, there's going to be those blunders, right? There's going to be those mess ups. There's going to be, the lack of quality control every once in a while, where they put the wrong label on the wrong book or whatever and stuff like that. And, it could happen, right? You get, 58,000 books a week or whatever the hell it is that they get, it's a crazy ass number. So yeah, there's going to be mistakes, but it's owning up to those. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people have with CGC is that they don't own up to those mistakes, right? They're just like, well, whatever, yeah, we'll fix it, but we're not going to say we're sorry about it. We'll just fix it and whatever and move on. Whereas like some of the smaller ones or the upcoming ones like CBCS, they will reach out and be like, hey, you know what? We're sorry about that. We'll fix it or whatever, because they want that market share, right? They want you to keep coming back.
They're trying to still get their market share, yeah.
So they want that. And I think that's why a lot of people are maybe leaning towards them. That gap is kind of narrowing a little bit as far as the prices go for resale value. The CBCS books are starting to get a little better at resale prices, being the new cases and everything. That's helping.
The census definitely helps as well.
But again, CGC is still the top, right? They're still the most, trusted. When you see a gold label on a CGC case, that somebody was right there eyeballing that shit when it was getting signed. And so they have that reputation, right? So that's why people are going to, continue to go with them, regardless of their shortcomings. But at the end of the day, it's all in what you can afford and what you like. And if you're trying to resell, obviously, you probably want to go with CGC because you're probably going to get your best return on investment. But if you're just slabbing them to like encase them and keep them nice and pretty in your house, you can save a couple bucks to go with CBCS or whatever. You can go with PGX if you want to.
Don't go PGX. I'm sorry. I have to stop you there. This channel does not. I had not support PGX.
I had one and I sold it.
We do not endorse PGX on this channel. Please stop talking about PGX.
So like I got rid of that thing. Had to leave my house immediately.
Right.
But
PGX, go talk to We Love Comics.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so you brought up another thing I want to kind of segue into. So the one submission that I am actually personally preparing to send to CBCS is actually a witness verification or a signature verification submission. Right. I have a handful of books that had signatures that were not witnessed by CGC, and I want to get them in, and especially now that they've got the yellow label. Like one of them is behind you. It's the Superman 204, I believe that is, or 214, something like that.
This guy?
Yes, that guy right there. Signed by Neil Adams. I've got a couple of books that I didn't like the grades, on. They came back green label from CGC, so I want to go and I want to put them through, and get that gold label. The question I'm going to ask is do you guys like signatures on your books? Do you hunt out books that are signed? And what are they? And let's go to JP for that one.
Do I hunt for books that are signed? No.
Yeah. No.
Like I have gotten books signed. I'm probably less particularly when I first started the first couple of cons I went to, that was a big thing. Like I get to meet the creators. I want to get signatures and stuff. I'm probably less into that now. It's more very specific creators that I would want to get.
Jenny Prison.
I'll be honest. Like if I had lots of resources, which I don't have, is that entire, like, I would have every Wonder Woman that she did signed and slapped. Like, I would do them all. Like,
I can't criticize. I have 5 of them done by her. I'm about to send in one to she's doing a signing. I'm about to send one into that to have her sign and have it sent to CGC because it matches the statue that I got for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, like the one I do have slabbed, I have some other signatures. The one I do have slabbed matches the print that I got from her.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Because I got that from you.
Yes, you did.
But you know, and so I'll probably always have a few books that I'll take and get signed if I go to a con, depending on who's there. But it's not something I'm like huge about. Like that I really. It's got to be very specific people that I would just for.
George? Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, get a couple that I really care about would be really awesome to get signed. Like, I had my Jim Lee signature I got in Chicago.
Nice.
On that book. Getting Henry Cavill to sign this one. And I didn't have him sign this one. I bought it signed, but
that's pretty cool though.
It's one of the things though you were talking about with, Lo said it with CGC, that you get a yellow label from them, you can be pretty sure that thing got signed. I got 2 CBCS books, 3 in my collection that I know were signed because I saw it, but the CBCS witness gave me the trust system. And I could have, just did it myself or something, but and that was an official employee for CBCS. And he he had no problem. Like, we had never met before, like it just trusted me.
I will say, like, you say that, but that guy that we used at PlanetCon, that CGC facilitator, he walked away. Like, he didn't watch. He was CGC facilitator, and he was there when 2 of the books got signed. The third one he was not, and then he walked away from me and left them books with me. Like, at one point when I was waiting for the last signature. Like,
well, how often do you guys go and get signatures?
Oh, not very often. I've only submitted 3 books myself that I got signed. I did that one time at PlanetCon. I think I have 4 signed books. The one I got from you, and then those other 3 that are slabbed. I have other I have a stack of other stuff that I've gotten signed and stuff. But my one experience was the CGC facilitator guy. He left the books with me after, like, they'd been signed before he took them back to the thing. So I could have swapped them out or done whatever, and So,
what about you, Lewis?
I think that a lot of facilitators are not as strict about it as probably like the CGC guys at the booth.
Yeah.
Or
I think it's going to come down to the people, that are there and how engaged they are with it, and they want to come back. But Los, are you somebody who like hunts up signatures? Goes after them, tries to find them?
No, not particularly. Like, I think I've only bought one book that was actually like signed already. It was a gold label beforehand. It was one of the X-Men books that I needed for my run. It was like 134, 135, something like that. It was just a good deal, and it was signed, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'll grab it. But normally, I would either get a raw copy of something, or if I got it at a good price, it's slabbed, I would probably crack it open and get it signed. So there was a few books on the wall here that were actually bought graded already. I cracked them open and had them signed. So this guy, these 2, my Journey into Mystery and the Avengers 4, they were both graded already, and I cracked them open to get signed by Stan Lee because I actually wanted to meet him in person, have him sign books that he wrote, that he was personally involved in. That was like awesome. And it was, essentially a few years before he passed. So, the things like that, the Jim Steranko books, I bought those raw so I can get them signed by him. So if I'm going to get something signed, I want to be there and actually witness it. talk to the artist, talk to the writer. All the Neil Adams books were signed in person. I got them signed by him. Got to speak to him and stuff like that. So that's where I go with the signatures. If I'm going to get something that's going to be very specific, either a key issue or just a great cover or something like that, but it needs to be very specific to that artist or writer. And one of the books that I do want to get signed, I didn't get this book before we went to C2E2, and before the world went to shit. So this book I wanted to get signed by somebody.
Oh yeah.
Well, JP might know.
I know. But Jimmy know. I'm curious if Jimmy.
So it's the Jenny Frison hack and slash number 14 DDP variant. It's technically her. So it's technically her first cover that she did,
First
even
one
though the Transformers Voltron cover, they say that came out first, but this was actually drawn first. It's the first book that she actually got paid for, and she said that if it wasn't for this book, she wouldn't have gotten the job for that book. So this is technically her first work. So I wanted to get this book. I wanted to get it signed, and of course, I didn't get it.
So TJ brings up a really good point, at least for me anyway. I mean, I don't go after a lot of signatures. I did one a couple of years ago. I got a ton of signatures, just kind of first time getting into it. But I found that now I want to try to find books, even if they're not graded, but books that have been autographed by creators we've lost, like Michael Turner, like Bernie Wrightson.
Bernie Wrightson, exactly.
Yeah. Just so I have that that kind of piece of nostalgia, and if I can get it submitted to CBCS and get them to grade it and it stays, a nice high grade, more power. I missed out on a Swamp Thing 7 that was signed by Bernie Wrightson, with the nice yellow with Batman. Yep. It was like, it was easily a 9.4. And I was just, I kept going, oh, it's a lot of money. And then it was gone. I'm like, oh.
I know. Those are tough. Those are things that I would go for, right? Especially artists or writers that are no longer with us. If you can get a book that's signed by one of these artists and at a decent price, I would definitely snag one of those, just because you can't get them anymore, right? Yeah. Michael Turner was one of my favorites, and not being able to get a signature from him anymore, just it's devastating, right? And so
it is.
Yeah, it's tough.
And so that leads to another question. FOMO, right? Big term that's been thrown around for a while, especially with this big speculator market and everything. How do you guys deal with the fear of missing out? In any facet, right? Like for me, it was a signed book that I was looking for, but it could be anything else. I mean, is that something that you guys have difficulties with, George?
For me, the only time that would ever affect me is worrying about the price getting too out of reach. But I mean, I don't care if I get a new release book or not. Like, I don't know. For me,
both of those scenarios are valid, right? That out of reach price, right? That's a real thing for us who are collecting vintage books. I mean, there's just a whisper of something. It becomes, thousands of dollars difference, right?
But I'm not as worried about oh, hey, the spec, movie spec, making it get crazy. Because for me, a lot of times that settles down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm more worried about your big keys becoming unobtainable. I just recently bought Daredevil 1 because
that exploded.
That book is getting really high.
It's getting ridiculous. Yep.
And, I was really afraid that if I didn't pounce on it now, it may never be that price again. And that was my FOMO.
What about you, Los?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when I got back into it, I did do that with some books. You know, I had a little bit of FOMO here and there. Picked up a couple books that I shouldn't have, probably overpaid. I think I bought a few. I got caught up in like the variant covers at times, just because, you know, it was a hot thing and you know, stuff like that, and kind of got into a little bit of trouble with that. But I tend, again, as I like matured in my collecting style, definitely went away from that and is like, hey, you know what? If I forgot to pre-order a book or whatever, or I didn't get it at New Comic Book Day, I'm not paying the $20, $30 out the gate that it's going for when it's, you know, a cover price book. The hell with that. And you know, most of the time now is like, if I go out hunting for like a spec book or something like that, that's exactly what it is, right? I'll go out hunting, I'll check dollar bins and you know, stuff like that, and if I can find it for cheap, and you know, somebody feels like paying the, you know, the FOMO prices, you know, all power to you. But you know, I'm not going to do it. I'll go out there and I'll do the hunting for somebody. And you know, the eBay clicker that just wants to be like, I'm going to sit at home and just buy this at home and let that other person go out. It's like, you know, my time is money, right? So if I'm out there hunting and you're not, you're just sitting at home, then I'm going to upcharge you for it. So
you're taking advantage of other people's FOMO,
but not in a bad way. Right? I don't like taking advantage. He's providing a service.
Hey, you know what?
Fair enough.
You're at home. It's real easy to buy it on eBay, but the person listing it, right? I had to go out and find this thing, right? I was on my hands and knees in these, you know, long boxes on the floor trying to find this book. So you know,
right.
Well, our community got a little divided this year with people arguing the merits of someone flipping new release books. And dude, you flip whatever you want to flip, man. Like
the market decides. You're not forcing anybody. You're not breaking anybody's arm to go after it.
The only one I'll ever.
And if you're dollar bin digging and you're doing the work, right? That's all there is to it. I'll let JP wade in on this one. So now, JP, I know that you've done some flipping.
No.
Are you?
Very little.
Sure. No, I'm not saying that. You know, this is like, you know. I'm sorry. I'm approaching this question not from, you know, what we were just talking about with that, but I know that you've done some flipping. You've turned some books, you know, recently, and they're hot books. So, but does that affect you at all? I mean, do you feel that you need to hang on to some of these because you don't want to have to pay a high price later on, or?
Well, I mean, if it's a book, like I generally, even if I know something's like a hot book and I see it, if I don't like, or has the potential to be a hot book, I don't usually, most of the time, unless it's like going stupid, I don't even bother buying. Like if my shop has a book for cover price and it's going for $15 on eBay, I don't fuck with it. It's not worth it to me. I'm going to make, you put it on eBay, you're going to make like $3 by the time you pay the fees and the shipping. And like, so I have no interest in that. Now, if I stumble across a book for cover price that's going for $50, then I'm gonna do that. But like if I want a book, and I miss out on it, I usually I do the math in my head of, do I think this book is still at a value that it's worth chasing, or is it just don't worry about it?
Yeah,
and that. One of the reasons I started doing the look back was to try to understand what was really like worth, like, okay, it's probably going to keep going or it's not. And most modern stuff, at the very least, is going to have a lull or come back a little bit. And you just kind of be patient. In terms of like, I had bought a couple years ago, those, the 1 in 25, Dr. Aphra, and the regular cover, that Darth Vader 3. Mm-hmm. And I sold them this year. Now, if I'd waited a little longer, good grief, that 125 now is a $2,000 book. Like I thought I did good when I sold it for $750, but I had $100 in it. Yeah. Like, you know, but it allowed me to do other stuff. I have other copies. I kind of want a copy of the book. Well, I sold those, did a bunch of other stuff, picked up 3 more copies, and eventually I keep one of them. But yeah, but I use selling it to fund keeping one and trying to like get other stuff.
Right. Definitely.
But so I dabble in turning books, but it's very like I think I've sold like 5 slabs, at this point. It's not like anything like, and probably another 5 or 6 other things. So it's nothing. Yeah, I
didn't want to turn this into a
but
but let me say this. I guess I hit a spot.
Oh, that's yeah. Well, there's a
cat's gone wild.
Dirty flipper.
There's a specific chat that I'm in on IG where, yes, I'm referred to as a dirty flipper. Yes,
you dirty.
Often specifically by someone in particular.
That's funny.
So,
because I'm pretty sure I probably sold more books than JP.
Yeah.
Well, you don't even want to know. You should look at my eBay store.
Exactly. Honestly, I think I kind of came not to like a realization, but I kind of got to a certain point where it was like I almost have that like mindset of like DS, right? Where he's like, hey, you know what? DS has had some amazing books in his collection, right? Mm-hmm. And they're in his collection. He might read them, he might not. He cleans them and presses them, and they're on their way, right? But at the end of the day, he's like, hey, you know what? At one point in my life, that book was in my collection, right? If it was in my collection for 6 months, 6 days, 6 years, at least it was in my collection, right? I can say I owned that book at one point in my life.
Yeah.
So at this stage of my collecting, that's where I'm at too, right? I'm like, hey, you know what? If I need to get rid of a big book to fund other things, it is what it is, right? I mean, at least I owned it. I can say I had it before and I enjoyed it. It brought me, happiness, and now I can move on, right? And now it's gonna fund something else.
Yeah.
And
well, we all make decisions.
If I get it back later on, it's fine, right? If I don't, I'm just like, hey, I need to move on and just deal with it in that sense or whatever. So that's one of the things that I kind of took from DS as well too, when he was just like, hey, he's had some amazing books, and he's like, oh, I've owned that book, 40 times, and just goes out the door, and right. So I'm just in that mindset right now too. So
JP, you were going to say something about the FOMO.
Well,
we'll finish that topic off.
The FOMO is real. Like, you see something like, oh, like all the time. But for the most part, at this stage, if particularly on new books, if I don't get it for cover, I just let it go. And unless it's something that like is very special, it's got to be cover. In terms of older books, yeah, part of why I prioritize is I try to like, okay, these are the ones I think I need to get sooner rather than later, a little bit to a certain degree, and I have not prioritized books, and they've gotten out of reach. It's just. It's like, I'd really like to have it, but it gone. I don't have to like. It's just part of it. My comic budget is small, and one of the reasons I have been selling some books is to try to make it a little bigger, and to have a little more of a button to be able to do a few more things. But I'm not getting buried. I'm not TJ. I'm not having them like chase the whole house and being buried with them. Like, at some point, they're all going to go.
No, so when it comes to TJ, I think it's going to be more of an accident where he becomes buried under them.
Yeah, well, that too. Yeah. But at some point they're all going to go. Like, I realize that, and I'll have them for when I have them.
It's true.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the big meat. Are we going for any grails this year? Lois, I know that you've made a decision. I still wanted to have you on the show. I know you're not really targeting anything major this year, so feel free to answer if you want to or not. But
I did have a list. Before the whole switch and stuff like that. I did have my list, my 2021 hunt list. So I did have some books.
Let's hear it.
So I had a nice.
You sure you don't want to like have TJ kicked out of the stream before you read?
Yeah, exactly. He's like, TJ, can you leave?
He's just gonna watch the rewind. Come on, get over it.
So I did have maybe some smaller books in there, more attainable books, and then it just kind of progressed, to full on just absolute craziness. But so I mean, I'll kind of if you can kind of see that. So basically, it was just like so Sandman.
We got Sandman 8, first
Yeah,
death.
so Black Panther #2. So again, it was a Doom cover.
Doom cover, yeah.
You have the X-Men 522 is a Mark Brooks variant with Kitty Pryde on a missile.
Right now, she's riding the bullet.
Yeah,
riding the bullet. Yeah.
Adam Hughes, Catwoman.
Adam Hughes, bottom row there.
Yeah. Adam Hughes.
Another Adam Hughes and then Adam Hughes. So you can kind of see where I was going with that.
Right. I have the bottom 3. I don't have the top 3.
And then it starts getting progressively larger. So X-Men 101,
Batman 251,
251, first Ghost Rider there,
Marvel Spotlight 5, Iron Man 55,
first Ra's al Ghul,
yeah, Batman 234,
first Snake Eyes, silent cover there. So, and the last page, which these are the ones that are for me are bonkers, but I had to throw them in there. And
ASM 5,
FF48, Fantastic Four 5, Silver Surfer 1, Fantastic Four 52, and
85.
85. So first Loki. So,
well, that is an ambitious list.
So actually, before I changed, before I went to going away. It was on Instagram. You already had the list. Before I kind of went away, and I was like, hey, I want to take care of some personal things. One of these books was acquired, and if you want, I can probably unbox it now because it's right here.
Do it! Come on!
So you guys want to take a guess at which one of those books was in there?
I'm going to say it's a Hughes.
And it was I picked this up on Instagram. So
very nice.
It's one of those things where somebody had it and I was like, hey, it's on my list. It was in my price point. So I kind of picked it up, packaged really well. And what was cool is I have it kind of pre-cut open. I was like, I only got one book and it was a raw copy, but I'm like, why is it so damn heavy?
Oh,
wow. We kept on all the books with it. I'm like, okay.
Well, and at least there's something in there to protect it.
And some, just some Fallout cards.
Right.
So,
okay.
Pretty funny.
Do you feel comfortable sharing the seller?
Yeah, it was. I want to say it was like comics for fun. Crap. I am really bad at that. Let me see. But I know.
If you want to pick that up afterwards, that's not a problem.
Yeah. So he, it was definitely awesome. It was comics for fun ever or something like that, right? So, but yeah,
Jackson, that guy is actually like a couple miles from me. I know that dude.
So it's pretty cool. And he's I believe I want to say that he's a military guy. He definitely said that he had to go to base for something. So, even more of a plus. Definitely, like I said, packaged it really well. Had the thick cardboard on both sides.
Nice.
In a bag, in a box. So that was pretty cool. But let me take the big book out of there.
All right. So let's do this. So everybody in the chat, we got 11 people in the chat. All right. I want everybody to put in your pick from Carlos's list of what you think this book is.
Let me see if I could. Let me pull up the my list again so that people can kind of see. So
I already know.
Jack thinks it's the Zatanna 16.
So there's that page, and
Alex the Comic Hoarder's late. Chris Barrett says FF number 5.
There's that page.
JP's thinking budget, thinking Hughes Catwoman.
And there's that page.
I'm going X-Men 101, baby.
I'm going G.I. Joe number 21.
Like I said, I mean, I had this for a little while, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna save it because I think this might be pretty cool. I can unbox it here or something like that. It might be
Very cool. Thank you. Hang on. TJ says it better not be Catwoman unless you bought that from him. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
he's laughing.
all right.
All right, ready?
All right. So I'm gonna actually show some of the extras that he threw in there, which is pretty cool. So we got Brave and the Bold 104.
Nice.
Cool Batman and Dead Man cover.
Nice 20 center.
So it's pretty cool. I was like, okay. Again, you know, it's the customer service, right? You know, throwing the extra books in, you know, that you didn't have to. I thought it was pretty cool. Batman 434. Yeah,
like that
just a cool cover. You got this pretty cool. You got Detective Comics 934, The Rebirth, but it's actually signed by James Tyrion. Tinian, 3 of 25.
All right, so I don't know if the rest of you are noticing, but I'm seeing a pattern.
I'm going to say, I'm guessing it's going to be one of the Batmans based on this.
Definitely X-Men 101.
That's where all these books would lead me to.
Yep.
George, keep drinking.
You got the Batman 92 Art Germ. And, okay. Oh, shit. Wasn't expecting that. World's Finest 176, a nice 12 center.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And it's actually a pretty damn clean copy.
It does look like a clean copy.
I was like, okay. that
Barrett, SJF. That's not on the list. That wasn't F15 was not on the list, Barrett.
And it was
oh, nice.
Very nice.
Congratulations.
That's a pretty book.
Yeah. He had
a nice copy too.
He actually put it in the
clear
backboard.
I was gonna say, I think it's missing the back page or the back cover.
Yeah, it's the clear backboards. That's pretty cool. But yeah, but that was the one I got. That was the last book that's gonna be in the PC for a while.
Hell yeah.
But at least I was able to knock off one of them before.
Yeah, you got one before you.
That's awesome. That is fantastic. Congratulations for getting one off of your list.
Yep. Thank you.
So we're gonna kick this over to JP and have him tell us about his list for the year.
Okay. Well, I've shared this, so obviously I have.
Well, not the 50, but what's your target for the year?
Well, yeah, I have the larger 30 books at this point list. So I picked 10 of those that I'm going to try to prioritize this year. And realistically, if I get 6, I'll be like jumping for joy. So that's just, that's about where I tend to end up, is about 6 books of these kind of level. So this is this year's list. So DC Comics presents 26, that first New Teen Titans, Cyborg, Starfire, Raven.
Yep.
Matt, the boy who has 7, is selling.
Yeah, that's a little
nice
higher grade.
Yeah, that 9.8 that he's selling.
Yeah, that's a little out of my reach. It's a gorgeous copy, a little out of my reach. A Golden Age sensation. I don't necessarily put a specific issue or cover down. There's a couple of them that I would probably target, but
very nice.
Star Wars #1, which is suddenly jumping like crazy.
Recent 9.8 sale, $4,000.
I know. So yeah, my grade expectation on that one is dropping. Like what I expect to try to get out of that.
You know what, JP? I have actually 3 copies of that book. So if you want to pick one of those up, let me know and I'll make you a good deal.
Okay, we can talk after. NYX #3.
I'm here to make dreams come true, people.
I'll be honest, like it's probably the one that I'll go after next, just because of where the prices are going with it. But yeah,
I don't know if you watched ETA Nick, but ETA Nick is letting go of some Golden Age Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's sending him to TGC first because he's not responding to anything I've said.
Yeah,
he's letting go of some books.
Marvel Superheroes 13, which, according to the tracking, should arrive by March 11th. So,
Okay.
Oh, you got that one already?
Yeah. So I snagged this one the other day. It's coming from Canada. The guy shipped it, and it's saying by March 11th. I'm like, son of a. I'm like,
You really got to pay attention to those shipping tiers.
yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, so at some point, hopefully I will snag that.
There you go.
I got it for a pretty good price. It's a raw copy that I think he had way undergraded.
Yeah.
So
that's what I always look for.
we'll see what happens here. Hopefully it survives the trip from Canada. You never know. Yeah. Puckman number 4 for Satana.
That's a great book.
Kind of the 3 main ASM books I have left that, well, I have other ASM books I want, but the Mary Jane and Gwen books that I don't have that I want. 43, which technically CGC calls their first appearance. I think 42 is. But like I want to have 43 anyway. And then 121 and 122, Death of Gwen, Death of the Goblin. And then a book that you talk about the FOMO that I probably won't get, that I just
Yeah.
Unless you find it at a flea market, right?
Yeah, unless I snag one, but I put it on the list just because. But yeah.
Hey, I know a guy selling a 121 really nice, like a 9.6.
Oh, that's way out of my price range. I know that. I saw that one and was like, oh, maybe if it was 6 point something, then we
TJ picked up the 122.
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah, if it had started with the second number instead of the first number, we might have been able to make a deal. But
right.
Hey, I got an 8.0 we might be able to make a deal on.
not a deal that you probably like.
Big Papa Runk, it's your turn.
Hey, how much time do we got?
We got some time. We got 15 minutes.
All right,
cool. All right, so I got my list on my phone here too.
Every ADD kid ever.
I will yield the remainder of my time to the congressman from Florida.
So, I have a question for you, George. Because I've seen you, because you've been doing it slowly but surely, maybe not with a focus, but like you talk about that you have all the Scarlet Spider keys.
Yeah.
And that are slabbed at this point. Are you going to go after, like, Andy wants to have the entire, like, Punisher run in a slab. Like, that's one of Andy's goals. Would you, like, do you want all the Scarlet Spider books in a slab? Like, in a 9.8? Would that be, like, a long term? I'm talking not like this year, or do you just really want, did you just really want the keys?
I got the keys and all the covers that I really loved. There's nothing Scarlet Spider out there that I want anymore, other than like maybe original art or something like that.
Okay.
And if you asked me what I would be hunting for, it might be getting more commissions done, getting more original art pages.
Oh, you did get them both. Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
So you're looking to get more original art, George?
A little bit, because that is some more Scarlet Spider stuff I could collect that would be unique and hard to get. But yeah, for
we're moving.
that's fine. We need the sketch on this side.
Yeah, you did need to get the sketch over here. Yeah,
but
quality over there, that way, and down there, and then sketch.
But I mean, and this isn't a collecting goal, but it's more of just like a comic book goal. Like, I want to read more books this year. I've gotten so far away from reading books, and I just got my my Marvel Unlimited box, the new 2021 version. So I've got Marvel Unlimited for another year. I'm going to abuse it so hard that I'm going to destroy their business model, and they're going to want to shut it down.
So I used to when I was taking the train, I used to read Marvel Unlimited all the freaking time, right? But then like when I have to drive to work, I mean, I don't have any time, to do a lot of reading. So I'm actually back to a new job where I may be taking the train a couple of days out of the week, for work and school. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to get the Marvel Unlimited app and I'm going to start, reading through. Otherwise, right now, I just have like a stack of X-Men that I haven't read yet. Like I haven't read Swords of 10 yet.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and I'm like, Hellions issue number 2, kind of, like, which God knows, I mean, that could have been like 3 months ago, for all I know. But I got it. I'm with you right there, George. I don't read anywhere near enough. I kid you not, I want to say 10 long boxes of new stuff of Marvel and DC not that long ago. And I didn't read a single issue in it. It's like it was just buying. Oh yeah, I'll get to I'll start reading it. Like I'm still reading New 52 crap. And it's terrible. But I want it to be in order.
If it's not Batman New 52, you can just skip it.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I've skinnied down to seriously just Batman and Detective and X-Men.
Yeah. Actually, what helped me get reading a little more, especially like older stuff or whatever, is actually doing the reviews with JP. In the indie book, right? Doing reading like Saga and reading East of West and doing the Monstrous and doing those things, looking Divine and stuff like that. That's actually helped me exactly. So, doing that is got me back into like reading and stuff like that. And I went back and, I finally got to read, Thor, God of Thunder and all those, all those older, issues and stuff like that. So it definitely got me back more into reading. And I definitely want to read more of the newer stuff as well. But again, full-time job, 3 kids, it's really tough to find that time to do it and stuff like that. So I do it whenever I can. I have the Hoopla app too. So if I didn't happen to get a book, I can read it digitally for free. It's, a library app or whatever. You can just download the whole trade and just read it for free. So I've been doing stuff like that. The Marvel Unlimited, again, is another great tool. The DC, app, if you want to read some DC books as well. So there's definitely other ways to read a little quicker and not damage your books, especially if you can't buy 2 or 3 copies of a book so that you can read one and then have the rest to keep pristine. But yeah, it's definitely tough trying to keep up with the 487 titles that, it's a lot.
Yeah. So. Actually, I want to say add that thank you in there as well, JP. I mean, when I came on the indie show, for V for Vendetta, I hadn't read that story in ages, like since I was like 14. Right when it like came out, and I was like happy to get back into that, right? And like having you have those shows like the indie show, like Gotham City Chronicles, right? Those are really good to that kind of push those of us who don't always find the time to do it.
Definitely,
it's been huge for me. There's lots of things that. It's changed a lot for me. Like the number of trades I've picked up in the last year, and just stories that I've got to read. Like George talks about, that was a goal for me last year, and the indie show was one of the ways I really changed and increased the amount of reading I was doing without buying more. Like obviously I bought a bunch of trades, but like without having to necessarily track down issues and that kind of thing. So yeah, it definitely, I really enjoyed it. So, and I'm glad I'm reading some stuff. I have the DC thing. I need to probably get the Marvel Unlimited because there's a bunch of Marvel stuff I'd like to read that I'm not necessarily going to go after trades for.
I can't do the trade game. It just takes up too much space.
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. Like, I did trades, but one of the things I'm planning on doing, and I'm actually doing, is once I finish with some stuff, I'm going to send it to somebody else in the community and let them read it.
Yeah, just with Damian. I know Damian was doing that quite a bit. He was sending them to Matt was giving them away for Comic Boys.
Yeah. So, I'm sending East to West to Carlito, and I've got the sender. I'm going to send to somebody, and I got some other stuff that so.
Right on.
No, but hey, Kavi is not kidding though, man. Getting a tablet to read it on
Yeah.
is just. I mean, it works good on your cell phone too, because
it's perfect size on the tablet though. It really is.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about reading it on a cell phone is it lets you go panel by panel.
We can do that on a tablet too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on a tablet, you're just going to do the full page. And
I get what you're saying, George. What I have found is that panel by panel, it does exclude like some of the scape on the art, the scope on the art sometimes, right? It just kind of goes panel, panel, panel. It's gone. It's like you don't really get to see the scope of the entire page, unless you bubble back out.
But you don't get that splash page effect where you see the spoiler on the next page, which I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good one. My brother, so Be Unbreakable is my brother, and he made a good point there, George. So you might need to record some audio books for the community members to read.
I don't know if I have that kind of voice. Like that'd be a job for our buddy Daymers. He's got that voice that you could let
James Earl Jones put you to sleep.
James Earl Jones.
Oh, dude, I want Daymers to tuck me into bed sometimes.
He does have that nice, yeah.
Oh my, yeah.
George likes a good spooning, so I'd be careful, Daymers. You can ask Kenny on that.
Yes.
Well, not that anybody asked, but I'm going to throw up some of my. I'm going to throw up a couple of my from the list. So I've gone over the modern books and the Golden Age books, but so I do have some. I'm just going to share a few here, but so for my silver and bronze, just trying to get some gaps in here. And so this one here was a big thank you to JP, and it's one of the reasons why I wanted to show this here. I did not know that this was the first appearance of the Red Sonja chainmail bikini until I watched Let's Collect Red Sonja.
Now you're just guilting me into you need to do more work because I haven't done one of those forever.
Whatever motivates you, my friend. I'm after this. I'm after this one. I have the Savage Tales #1. I want the Savage Sword #1. It's great because she's on the cover as well. I also heard that
Savage Sword, Conan, like that entire run. Those magazine covers are just ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
they are all ridiculous.
And Frazetta, it's just incredible.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. And I think I don't. Somebody in the chat, correct me. Let me know who it is that does this cover because I can't remember if it's Frazetta or Vallejo or somebody else entirely. Like maybe Ken Burns. But yeah, so I'm after that. But I also heard that Savage Tales #2 actually has. It on the inside actually has, I think, like her first iteration of it. It might be a little bit different, maybe not so much a bikini, but a reduced chainmail from like the cover of Conan 24.
Nice.
Very nice.
Legion of Monsters #1. I did get the Marvel Premiere.
Yep.
28. I want to say. Yeah. Yep. So I got that this year. So I was happy finding that because that was tough. I actually got it on eBay from Torpedo Comics, and it, in my opinion, was undergraded. And after I press it, it's going to look really, really sharp, somewhere in 8.5 or better range. So I'm happy with that. But I want to get the actual first appearance in the magazine. But more to the point, I've been collecting the Universal Monster appearances in comics, and this is one of the last few that I need. It's the first appearance of Manphibian, who's basically like Marvel's creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I dig that. And he's on the cover looking all creepy.
Very nice.
Teen Titans #1.
Ooh.
Oh, I got that one.
Right on.
I got that one.
I got a line on one, but Teen Titans #1. I've got their first appearance. I've got their second appearance. I've got their third appearance. And this is like the next one in the line. But these Teen Titans, it's not a very long running series, but the early issues are damn hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got that from Comic Books. I forget which city it is. It's one of the bigger cities.
Philadelphia? Comic Books Philadelphia or
Yeah, Philadelphia.
Comics Louisiana.
I
Comic
want this book too. I like first
Flash
Wall.
110. So we got first Kid Flash and Weather Wizard. This is like one I kind of do with my son because he's a big Flash fan. So it's like I always try to pick up, some kind of Flash key every year.
Nice.
Just as I'm trying to get through the series, but again, it's one of those ones. They don't come around very often, especially in the 10 center.
Yeah, I think Burke is looking for that as well too.
I'm not surprised.
Exactly.
And then Strange Tales Annual 2, third appearance of Spider-Man, yet it is criminally underpriced.
Oh yeah.
Really?
All right, and I know it's going to catch at some
I
point.
never looked into that.
Yeah, I know it's going to catch at some point, and I'm like, I got to nail down a copy before it does. And it's cool because he doesn't have there's no emblem on his chest.
There's no emblem. Yep.
The Ditko Chunky Spider-Man. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
But
that's a good one. That's a good one.
we got some people helping out in the chat here.
I like that.
Comic Books New Jersey, that's the best one.
Kavi, I apologize.
Kavi doesn't recognize that spelling.
Look when he started.
And thank you, Jackson. Oh no, TJ Slab Dragon and Jackson Roykirk with the Boris Vallejo. Yeah, I thought that's who it was, but didn't want to be wrong. So
you know what? Whenever you don't know, you're just like, oh, I kind of forgot this. You ask somebody in the chat, they'll know. There's always somebody in the chat that knows. Like the knowledge out there is ridiculous.
You're not kidding about that. Man, underpriced.
I stand corrected. This is the best one. The whole state. It's. All right. Well, I think we're about to the end here, and I want to give you gentlemen a chance to promote your channels. So we'll start with you, Los.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just because I'm not buying anything personally and for the collection. I'm not going away. I'm like herpes. I just keep popping back up. So,
you're itchy.
But yeah,
you can do a Dirty Flipper show, and you can guest star JP. You and JP, the Dirty Flippers.
But yeah, I'm still gonna go out there. I'm still gonna try to find some books that I can sell. But as far as like the channel goes itself too. I definitely have some other things I'm going on. I definitely have some boxes behind me that I'm going to be going through and stuff like that, seeing books that I'm going to sell from the personal collection. So reorganizing the room and stuff. So just kind of taking a deeper perspective into my collecting. So hopefully I could put out some more videos like that, stuff like that. I'm definitely still going to do collaborations with people, stuff like that. So I'm definitely going to be on other channels, and I'll definitely still be around. I'm not disappearing from the community and stuff like that just because I'm not getting anything for the personal PC, but I'll definitely be around and hopefully be still putting out content once a month or something like that. Kind of like Bear Island, in that range, once a year.
Once a year.
Once a year.
So George, well, before we get to you, I need to preface this. Alex, the comic hoarder, is running, and he needs 10 more minutes of entertainment. So take it away, George, my friend.
Alex, I got you, homie. I got you. Check out.
Maybe we can back over your list again.
No, check out the video I just dropped today. I unboxed what's in the new Marvel Unlimited box. Comes with an action figure and a couple of comic books, which is pretty cool. Other than that, hoping to book my next guest for D's top 10 in the very near future. And also like kind of not comic book related, but the thing I've always wanted to do on YouTube is do a cell phone review. I'm into watching cell phone reviews. It's another hobby / passion of mine. And I'm getting a new phone in a couple of days, and I plan on putting in like 2 or 3 weeks into putting together a really clean, professional looking review on that. And
awesome.
And Alex, if you're not watching the screen right now when I said that, JP rolled his eyes.
My eyebrows went up.
Do it. He did.
I was actually looking at the chat and not.
Yeah.
But
TJ wrote something.
I was rolling my eyes at TJ.
Yeah, TJ wrote something for me and JP. He's like, yeah.
So yes, that was.
Yeah.
Well, hey, you got to give the man credit. He's helping you with your channel and developing content.
Yeah,
He definitely is. He definitely is.
Especially being very generous.
It's all right. TJ has an unboxing coming soon too, so everybody can stay tuned to that. So I have something for TJ as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and I want to say I think Adam Damaris sent TJ something, but I don't remember seeing an unboxing on TJ's channel.
He posted it on Instagram, but I don't think he did it.
What kind of junk is that? Come on, TJ.
Yeah, we got to see TJ more on YouTube. He needs to.
The only way you're going to get him to do that is you're going to have to pull him onto your channel. I don't think he's going to do it on his, but
yeah, that's usually how it works.
If you go, hey, I sent you something, TJ, you're coming on my channel to unbox it, then he'll do it.
Yeah.
I once threatened to send TJ a PGX book, and he leveled a threat on me that I cannot repeat.
It's not my family show, at least.
Well, here's the thing: the whole reason Damaris won't come on this show, is because
of TJ.
Because he sent books to TJ, and now he's terrified of the retaliation that he knows is eventually going to come.
Revengerosity is
revengerosity. It's a real thing. It's a real thing. Thanks, Kavi.
Like with FOMO.
That's awesome.
Terrified is a strong word.
I'm waiting for that to pop up. Oh, here we go. Yeah. And I have another one coming for him when the house is not quarantined. Yeah,
Damaris is fighting the COVID at the moment.
Oh, brother.
And
hey,
guys, this is important though. If you're ever suffering from any medical affliction, JP is very willing to violate your HIPAA rights.
Oh, I already did that the other day.
He will disregard.
Did you joke at somebody's house?
He will disregard your HIPAA rights at the first possible opportunity.
Or is he going to talk about your medical condition on his channel?
Yeah.
I might have. Yeah.
So JP, what's going on your channel?
Nothing. I'm shutting it down.
Oh damn. Damaris, you're caught in the crosshairs.
Revenge Ross. Dundona's got to get his trademarks in.
Yep. Oh, yeah. You got to get the trademark.
He's going to get them royalties.
Well, Los and I talked about it. Los kind of talked about it briefly. We're doing Indie Show tomorrow night. The Wicked and Divine, volumes 4 and 5. Myself, Los, Unruly, and Gorilla Todd are going to be talking about this. So
that's tomorrow night at what time?
It's tomorrow at 8 Central.
8 Central.
9 Eastern.
9 Eastern. Same time as what this was tonight. And then Saturday, the Look Back show will be out, or TJ will hunt me down and beat me up if I miss a week. So that'll be out on Saturday.
Yeah, he does this like he uses this information.
Yeah,
he does.
Yes. I always do the whatever thing on Sunday because there's no football this weekend, so there will be a whatever report. Next weekend there will not, unless we win, and then I might do something afterward.
Yeah.
There you go.
After hours Chiefs party, right?
9 Eastern, yes, Barrett, 9 Eastern. And then next Wednesday, Gotham City Chronicles is back, and I do not remember if it's supposed to be on my channel or on Kavi's channel, but we are going to be reading Batman Ego with Mastodon, the Darwin Cook. So I've had to actually dig into that. I'm going to dig into it this weekend. So nice. We're going to be...
Very cool. I've not even seen that. I didn't know that Darwin Cook had done.
It was really the Darwin Cook where we're like, yeah, we got to get that in.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the main reasons for that one. So we're doing that on Wednesday. And yeah, I think that's pretty much anything I have scheduled at the moment. Yeah. So
Copy says it's on your channel, JP.
There you go. I couldn't remember. It's been too long. I couldn't remember where we were last time. So my channel on Wednesday.
There you go.
Exactly. Okay, so that said, thank you everybody for stopping by tonight in the chat and in the panel. All of my guests, thank you very much for your time and coming down and talking to us about what you're hunting and how you do it. This coming Tuesday will be our next show, and we're going to be featuring Bub's Comics, Comic Books NYC, and Bonafide Comics.
Very
I'm
nice.
sure we're going to be talking about some Golden Age books, some modern stuff, and I imagine there's going to be some heavy conversations about original art. So if you're into those kind of topics, please check us out on Tuesday at 9 Eastern. And on Saturday, we have a very special show that I'm very excited for. It's going to be our couples edition, where we'll be having Married with Issues, Kachung and Delphia, and the Comic Holics will be with us on Saturday. So that's looking very forward.
Next Saturday or this Saturday?
That's good. Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
So Tuesday and then Saturday. And if you haven't caught it, Tuesday I released a new Will Work for Comics video, talking about pressing for trade and for cash, and nice little key haul that came out of that. And I have another video dropping on Tuesday as well, and working on a new series talking about graded comics called Slab City. And that's going to feature market reports, unboxings, deep positions on comic books, and across all grades, all ages. That's the word I'm looking for, and where they're sitting. So be on the lookout for that coming up. Again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight, and we'll talk to you later.